Hi everyone. In this video we will take up list comprehensions. This is an interesting and concise way of creating lists. You will be able to understand this topic, list comprehensions, only if you have fully and thoroughly grasped the topic lists. Okay, so let's start with list comprehensions. Firstly, what are list comprehensions? So list comprehension, it provides a concise way to create lists. That means it is a shortcut or a short way of creating lists, and we can create new lists using list comprehensions. And what is the syntax of list comprehensions? It consists of a square bracket, okay, containing an expression followed by a for clause, then zero or more for or if clauses. Okay, so we need to remember this. Okay, so this is important here. What is a list comprehension? Of course, it is a list, so it has to be in square brackets, and it contains an expression which is followed by a for clause. That means one for is must here after the expression, and after that we can have zero or more for or if clause. So we will understand it through an example. And they are used to create new lists where each element is the result of some operation applied to each member of another list, another list or sequence. Okay, so it is used to create new list where each element is a result of some operation applied to each member of another sequence. Let's see what this means through an example. Okay, now here we have a code. Okay, so let's understand this code. What will be the output of this code? So what we are doing in the first line is we are creating an empty list here. We have simply put square brackets. Now we have a for loop for x in range. Now we have already discussed the range function in the previous video, and that is what we are using here. So we have a range from 1 to 11. So as you know that the range function 1 to 11 would mean that starting from 1, it would give us the elements till 10. Okay, so after that we are saying s.append, and this function again has been discussed in the previous video. So s.append x into 5. So basically what will happen is we have an empty list. So the first value of x when it comes here is 1. So 1 into 5, that is 5. Then x is 2. So 2 into 5 is 10. Then x is 3. So 3 into 5 is 15. So basically what we are doing is we are getting a table of 5 here. Okay, so let's try this command. Let's open a new file. And here let us write create an empty list. Okay, now we will say for x in range, and the range is 1, 11. Put a colon here, automatically indentation. Now we will say s dot append. We would say x into 5 because we want the table of 5. And once this is complete, we will come out and we will write print s. Okay, now let's save this file. Okay, okay, now we will run it, run module. So you see we get table of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, right? Okay, now if we had to, so this is using for loop. Now if we have to rewrite this code using list comprehensions, so you will see how short and concise it becomes. So this is the same code, we'll get the same output but in just one line of code. So what we are doing is we are creating a new list, s is equal to square brackets. Then you write the expression that we wrote here, x into 5. So we are writing x into 5. After that space for x in range 1 to 11. So the statement goes here. So what it will do is basically this is the expression part. This part is the expression. This is what we call the expression, this x into 5. Okay, so this is the expression, and then for x in range. So it will pick up one value of x from here, then it will add to the list. So that becomes 1 into 5. Then it picks up the next value from the range, that is 2. So x is 2, so 2 into 5, and so on. So we'll get the same output. So let's try this. So here instead of let's remove this, and instead what we have is s is equal to square brackets. Here we will write the expression x into 5 for x in range 1, 11. Okay, and then you need to close the curly square brackets. Now we will save this and we will run it. So this is list comprehension. This part is an expression followed by a for clause. Okay, so here we have a single for clause which is compulsory, right? One for is compulsory in a list comprehension, but we can have more than one. We will see the examples of those also. So we will run it, so we get the same output. So see, this is what is the advantage of list comprehension. It makes your code concise, short. Okay, so this is what we mean here. If we go back to the definition, it contains an expression followed by a for clause, then 0 or more for or if clause. Let us take up one more example. Here we have an empty list, C is equal to this. Okay, so after that we have a nested for loop here. That means a for within another for. Okay, so here we are saying for x in, this is a little advanced topic. Those of you who are not comfortable with this can leave this topic for the time being till you are comfortable with the nested lists. So you can either leave the topic or you can leave this example, the nested example. If you have understood the previous example, it is okay. This nested example is a little advanced. So once you're comfortable with the nested for loops, then you can come back to this example. And as it is, list comprehensions is not the basic, like the basic topic. It is a little advanced topic. So you can skip this topic for the time being. It's completely okay. If you do not understand it as of now, you can cover it later. Okay, but those of you who are comfortable can go ahead. Okay, so here we have for x in a, b, c, then we have for y in d, e, f, and then we c dot append x comma y. So here this x comma y, basically this is what we say is like a tuple. Okay, so tuples will be covered later, but as of now just remember that whatever we write in the round brackets, so x comma y, we are appending it as it is. Append function takes only one argument, so if you do not put brackets around x and y, it is going to give you an error. So we have two values here, so we need to surround them with a bracket. Okay, now how this works is, first for x in a, b, c, it will take one value of it will take the first value from the list. So the value of x is a. After that, for this particular one value of x, it will complete the entire while loop. So what it will do is, it will do c dot append, the value of x is a comma d, so we get this. Then it will do a comma e, so we get this. Then a comma f. Right, now this inner for loop is complete. Now the value of x will become b. Okay, so again for value b, this loop will again be iterated. So we get b comma d, b comma e, and b comma f. Now for the third value of x, which is c, again this inner loop will be completed. So we get c comma d, c comma e, and c comma f. Okay, so this is the output of this. So let's try this. So we'll have a new file, or we can go back to the previous one here. Okay, so let us create an empty list. C is equal to this, and we have for x in a, okay, in a comma b b comma c. Okay, and the next for y in d comma e comma f. Okay, and now we will say c dot append, and remember, because we have two values, so you need to put it in brackets, and as it is, these are tuples which we will understand later, and that's it. So now once we come out of both the for loops, we will print c. Okay, see, this print function is outside both the for loop. It is not part of any for loop. How do I know this? Because of the indentation. Okay, it is not in any for loop. So now we are out of this. So we want to print the final value of c. So let's run this. So you see, a comma d, as I told you, this is what the output would be. So you see, it is a new list because we have a square brackets at the end, both the ends. So it is a new list which has been created. Okay, now we will achieve the same thing using list comprehensions. So using list comprehensions, the code becomes very concise. We can write it in single line. So see what we have written. Firstly, as I told you, we will write the expression. So this is the expression x comma y. Put it in the bracket as we have done it here. Followed by the first for loop for x in ABC. That means this for loop. Then we don't need to give any comma or any comma here. You just need to give one space here. So space for y in DEF. Okay. So this is going to work in the same way. First it picks up first value of x, which is a. and that will be combined with each value of d. So that means AD, AE, AF. Then for second value of x, which is B, BD, BE, BF. Then for the third value of x, which is C, it will combine with CD, CE, CF, and after that it will print it. So let's try this also. So we are going to erase this, and now let us write C is equal to, and we write this. Okay, here we will first write the expression which is x comma y. Okay, and now we will write the for loop for x in. Here we will write A comma B comma C close, and then for y in we will write D comma E comma F. Okay, and another square and another square bracket outside. Okay, so this is our expression. So this is a list comprehension. So this is going to work the same way for x comma y. So the value of x first is A, so A will be combined with these three items of the second list, AD, AE, AF. Then B, so it will be BD, BE, BF, and then X is C, so CD, CE, CF. So this is how we get this. So let's save this and let's run it. So when you run it, we're getting the same output. Okay, so list comprehension is an easy and a concise way of writing your code. Okay, in one line. Instead of using for loop, we can write it in one line. Okay, now let's try another example here. Okay, we are already okay, we've done this example. So in the next example, I've slightly modified the previous example. So if you see, the loop is same, but here we have a if clause. So what am I doing here is I'm saying if x is not equal to y, then only we are appending to the list. That means the values of x and y should be different, the common elements here. So we have in the first list ABC, and in the second list we have DBC. So what are the common elements here? B and C. You can see B and C in both the lists. So if the value of x is equal to y, that element will not be appended to the list. So let's see how it works. The first value of x is A. So of course we'll have AD, AB and AC. So we have AD, AB and AC. Now the next value of x is B. So we'll have BD. As you can see, we have BD here, but then B is equal to B. So this condition is not true. This is false. So we don't want to. As long as it is not equal, then only it will be appended. So this value will not be appended. Then B comma C. So we have this. Okay. The third value of x is C. So CD, we have CD. Then we'll have CB. And of course, because C is equal to C, so this will not work out. So this is the output of this code. So let's run this and see. So here, all I need to do is, I just need to add an if clause here, if x is not equal to y. So that's all. Okay, the rest of the things will remain same. So now we'll save it and we will run it. Okay. So you see AD, AE, AF, BD, BE. Okay, BD, BE, BF. Okay, and CDs. Okay, this is not the same code. Just a second, we'll see. We'll go back to our code for x, y, A, B, C. So, okay, I need to change the values here because we don't have common values. So we need to say D, B, and we need to have C here. Okay, I need to change the elements of this list. Okay, now we have saved it and let's run it again. So now you see AD, AB, AC, BD, BC, CD, and CB. Okay, so this is the output of the code. Okay, now let's take one more example here. So this is what we have done. It's the same statement using the list comprehension, which I've already showed you. Okay. Now these are a few examples. So let's understand these examples. First is create a new list with values doubled. So we will simply do it using list comprehension. So we have a list here of some numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have to create a new list where the elements of this list are doubled. So we will do it using this comprehension. So we can say x into 2 because for x and n. So this is how we can do it. So let's try this. So we have let's say we have a new we'll create a new file. So we have it here. Okay, so C, so let's create a new list. A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and we want to create a new list where the elements of the previous list are doubled. So the expression would be we can write x into 2 for x in A. Okay, x into 2 for x in A, and now we can print B. Okay, so this is an expression and this is a for loop for x in A, print B. Okay, let's run this. So you see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this is the output, 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. So now let's try another example here. So the next example which we'll take up is this, remove negative numbers from a list. So we have this list -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. So the list comprehension for this would be, how will we write the statement is, x for x in n is this list, if x is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so we have to create a list where we'll remove the negative number from an existing list. So let's have this, okay, and okay, so now what we'll do is, we'll create a list, okay, a is equal to -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, okay, and we create a new list b, and we'll write x for x in a if x is greater than or equal to 0. So this is how it will work. Of course we need to write b is equal to here, okay, and after this we'll print b. Okay, so x for x in a if x is greater than or equal to 0. So the first element of x would be -2, so it is not greater than 0, so it will not be added here. Again, second element is not greater than 0, so basically we're going to get 0, 1, 2. So let's save this and let's run this. So when you run it, so you get 0, 1, 2. Okay, now let's try another example here. Apply a function to all the elements of the list. So if you have a list here, okay, and we want to apply a function to all the elements of the list. Let's say we want to apply the length function, which will give us the length of each string. So this is how we will write the list comprehension, length x for x in f. So let's try this also. So we have here, okay, so let's create a list. F is equal to, and let's write some fruits. Okay, so we have this, and the expression which we'll write is b is equal to x. We have to apply the function, so length x for x in f. That's it. Okay, so x, first value of x in f is pear, so it will give us the length of pear. Then the next value of x would be apple, so it will give us a length of apple, which is 5. And then for third value, orange, so which is 6. Okay, so let's save it, let's run it, and you see 4, 5, 6. So this is the length which we are getting here. Okay, you see this is the code and this is the output. Fourth, the length of pear is 4, the length of apple is 5. Length here basically means the number of characters, and length of orange is 6. Okay, right? Now we will take up one more example here. Okay, so this is done here. So this is the output. Okay, next is this is another example here, flattening a list. Let's suppose we have 3 lists, okay, A, B, C, and we are creating a nested list. So those of you who do not know what a nested list is, I have discussed it in my previous video, so you can watch that video for that. So this will create a nested list. So I'll get a list like this. Okay, so that means we have a list within another list. Okay, so we have 3 lists, 1, 2, 3. This is the first element, this is the second element, and this is the third element of this list V, because we have written V is equal to A, B, C. This is a little higher like advanced example, and those of you again who are not comfortable with this example can leave it altogether. Okay, and you can come to this example later when you've understood and when you're more thorough with the lists. Okay, then what we are doing is we want to flatten this list, so that instead of these 3, what is the meaning of flattening here? Means that instead of having 3 different lists, the final output would be like this, where we have a single list with just all these numbers. So that is called flattening a list. So here the list comprehension for that would be, now you see G is equal to Y for X in V. What is V? V is this list. Okay, so this list is V, A, B, C, which is the combination of 3 lists. So what will be the value of X in V? So X will be this first list, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what will be the value of X? It will be this first list, 1, 2, 3. Okay, then after that we are saying for Y in X. Now X is this 1, 2, 3. What will be the value of Y? Y will be 1, so it will print 1, then Y will be 2, then Y will be 3. Then again it will go through this loop for X and V. What is the new value of X now? The new value of X is 4, 5, 6. This second element of this list V, okay, which is this entire list. So now this entire value, this entire list is X, which is passed on to this second loop. So for Y in X, so what is the value of Y now? 4, 5, 6 individually, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, then after that, what is the last value of X in this V? It is this entire list, 7, 8, 9. So X is this list, last list. So again, it will Y will iterate through this, so we get this. So this is how we can flatten a list. So let's try this. Okay, so we will have to create 3 lists. So we say A is equal to 1, 2, 3, and then B is equal to 4, 5, 6, and then C is equal to 7, 8, 9. Okay, now we'll say V is equal to A, B, C. Okay, so this is my, okay, we need to put square brackets around here. So we have A is equal to 1, 2, 3, first list, this is second list, this is third list, and V is nesting of all these lists. So now we'll create an expression. F is equal to, in here, F is equal to, let's say Y for X in V for Y in X. Okay, so here you need to see for X in V. So the value of X would be 1, 2, 3, this entire list, which is passed on to this second loop. So here we have X and here we have Y. So if you see here, we have not written X, here we have written Y, because Y is ultimately the flattened. Y will flatten this list 1, 2, 3, and instead we will now have individual elements. Okay, so that is what you need to, don't make this mistake of writing X here. We have the second argument here, second loop, in which we have Y, which will flatten this list. Okay, right? So now we will print F. Okay, so let's save this and let's run this. So you see we get this final list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you understood the topic list comprehensions, and if you like the video, please click on the like button and do subscribe to the channel estudy.in and leave your comments in the comment section. Thanks for watching estudy.in.